Hey, everybody, it's your man, Nicholas Wildstar, aka the Governor Wildstar, back with another episode of Black Side of Liberty. I told y'all these were going to be sporadic, and I was just going to be dropping them on y'all periodically. So if you are watching now, definitely be sure to be watching sometime in the near future. But one way that you can make sure that you are up to date on when I am going to be on here live is you could subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. I just hit 30,000 subscribers, over 30,000. Woo! So thank you to all of you that are out there watching, and nearly 7 million views. So please keep sharing these videos. Everybody around the world are definitely seeing them, and is bringing more attention to my campaign for California governor. Since y'all know that's what I'm doing, is attempting to replace Gavin Newsom here. Got my Recall Newsom shirt. And I got a wonderful guest who I'm going to be talking to you guys about this whole recall debacle out here in California, since he is somewhat involved. So I'm going to be introducing him to you now. His name is Richard Lewis Brown. Welcome, Brother Brown, to the Black Side of Liberty.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine. And like I told you before we started, man, you're like my new hero.
We'll see if I continue to be your hero. We'll see.
All right, let's definitely do so. Well, to start off, you've already impressed me very well with standing up against Gavin Newsom, with you being the newly elected SEIU 1000 president. And a lot of people out there don't know too much about SEIU or unions or all of that stuff. They hear it through media, but they don't really do their homework enough to find out what that is. And it isn't really explained to people. So if you could just introduce yourself to the people out there and sort of kind of explain what is a union in general for those that may not know.
Well, first of all, my name is Richard Lewis Brown, and I live in Sacramento, California, and I belong to Local 1000. Local 1000 is your largest public sector union in the state of California. And so we represent over 96,000 state employees, and these state employees have over 743 different job classifications. The California state government has 12 public sector unions. Within these 12 public sector unions, they represent these different state employees. And what makes Local 1000 very unique is we have 9 bargaining units. Most of the other unions just have one bargaining unit, only representing a group of people that fit all within a bargaining unit. So I am the president-elect. I haven't been sworn in yet. The protest period started yesterday, June 1st. It ends on June 10th. I don't know for sure if anyone's going to protest this election. But the protest committee will make their announcement by June 25th if they had to respond to anyone. And I should be sworn in June 26th or June 27th. Most people are somewhat familiar with the union I belong to because they're always in the headlines because they're heavily involved in politics and they support the Democratic Party.
Right.
So by my winning the election, I defeated all the odds. I beat the 4-time incumbent president. So even though she has everything at her disposal to win re-elections, I was able, after my 3rd try, to beat her in an election.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. And so the big deal is when I made the comment that when I become president, once I'm sworn in, we will not support Gavin Newsom. And I meant every word that I said. We will not support Gavin Newsom. So ironically, tonight, they're doing an emergency board meeting to give Gavin $1 million to help him with his recall.
Yeah, I heard about that.
PM. And so, they're going to do a stance saying that we are against the recall of Gavin Newsom and that we're going to give him $1 million. That's the second part. Right. So that starts at 6 p.m. I haven't been invited. I put the link up on Facebook, and
Wait, you said you haven't been invited?
Right. So I'm not part of the board of directors.
Okay.
Or the 51 DLC presidents, 9 bunk chairs, and the 4 statewide officers. So since I'm not sworn in yet, I'm not on the board.
Gotcha.
So they haven't invited me. But, they're doing this money in response to me saying that we won't support Gavin
Right.
once I'm in. And so a lot of times people say, well, Richard, you ran for a political position. You'll say anything to get elected, but once you get elected, you'll do something different. As you can see with Local 1000's reaction to my words, they know that I'm serious. And that's why they called the police on me. They announced on the 24th unofficially, and then the police was at my house the next morning claiming that someone made an anonymous call that there was a woman screaming at this residence.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but the police were nice. They didn't stereotype me as a black man. I didn't stereotype them as being bad policemen. I put in a public records information request, but I'm still trying to reach out to Chief Daniel Hahn to speed up the process because I need that documented because I could have lost my life that morning.
Absolutely. You never know what could happen in such a situation, especially with them responding to a call, an emergency, where it sounds like they were trying to paint it as if someone was being hurt, So who knows what the reaction to police officers on the scene would have been. And, thankfully, those who did arrive, responded in a professional manner. And it sounds as if there's a bit of retaliation going on to your potential presidency. If you don't, I guess right now you have a period where people can object against your presidency. And is that what's going on?
Anyone who ran for president, which would be the incumbent and three other people.
Mm-hmm.
So the incumbent, Yvonne Walker, she said she wasn't going to protest, but I don't know about the other three.
Okay.
So I had found election irregularities, a number. And so if they want to protest, I would understand where they're coming from.
Right.
But, I find it interesting that if they do protest and they bring more eyes to this union,
mm-hmm.
more attention to this union, I'm gonna win with a larger amount of votes next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with them pulling such a power play where you are making this public statement to say pretty much that you just want to get unions out of politics, which to me sounds like a great thing because the political influence that unions have over politicians is extremely one-sided. You got the labor unions, you got the police unions, you got the nurses unions, etc. So it seems as if the majority of power players are, again, these unions who have a lot of money to contribute and put money behind the candidates that will support the type of, policy changes that benefit them. And it sounds as if you really just are stepping in to make that separation of powers there. Is that right?
Well, it's a very complex situation. What I'm simply saying is Local 1000 shouldn't be involved in politics. So in order to unify our union, to bring in our non-members to where they become dues-paying members, we need to stop our political spending. And so what I mean by that is, I would say most of our members are Democrats. And so 90%, 99% of our non-members are Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party, no party. But when you're involved in political spending and you're getting everyone unified, well, where the country is right now, that's going to be really hard to do. So unions spending money with the politicians. So the big thing is a union would never be able to outspend a corporation. We all know that. And corporations spend money on politicians to get what they want too. What I'm simply saying is, for the union I belong to, I'm not speaking for other unions, for Local 1000, in order to unify this union, we must stop political spending. And then the big part is, what have we got for our political spending? What have we gotten over the years? We haven't gotten anything.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of silly. So my point is, we'll stop the political spending and we'll create a strike fund. Because I'm not, quote, a union man, because that's political. I'm your labor leader. I'm for labor. I'm for the working middle class, the working poor. And there's a big difference there. And so in order to get people to sign back up, to be new members, we got to cut the political spending. And I want you to realize something. It doesn't matter which governor from which political party is in office. It really doesn't. With Schwarzenegger, he first furloughs 3 days. Governor Brown, he made us give up our money in 2010 and 2012, voluntary PLP. And the same thing with this governor. He wanted 2 days for 2 straight years, but the second year he stopped because he's facing this recall. So people who, what?
Yeah, and I know also during the pandemic panic over the summer last year, he cut union workers' pay. Is that right? Where he
what he did,
state workers' pay.
What he did, he told all the unions to voluntarily give up your money, or he may furlough us. Now I want you to understand how the politics works. He's a Democrat, so it doesn't look good for a Democratic governor to cut people's pay, particularly unions.
Yeah.
To realize this, we're under a signed contract, a 3-year signed contract, with 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
He threatened to cut our pay for 2 days a month for 2 straight years unless we just gave up our money.
Wow.
Here's the trick to this. If he was to enforce a furlough and get it approved by the legislature, he's not going to be able to furlough everybody because some people's jobs are mission essential. See, that's the problem Schwarzenegger had, and he lost that case in court. So if you can get the unions to just give up their money, now you can get a lot more money, and no one can fight you because you just voluntarily gave it up.
Yeah. And like you said, seeing as the majority of the union members, I guess, are Democrat and happen to favor supporting these Democratic politicians through funding, it's a slap in the face for him to then turn around to those same unions that supported him to say it pretty much is like a threat. You guys were threatened with, hey, either make the sacrifice now or make the sacrifice later. But he himself didn't make that financial sacrifice. He continued to collect his salary until it was exposed in the news about all of this. And then he finally applied that 10%, I guess, towards his own pay. So it's more exemplary of his whole do as I say, not as I do type of attitude.
That's excellent.
Yeah, he's been displaying that, of course, the entire time that he's been governor. And it's just sad to see how it's affected every level of this, to where even our unions, state employees are being affected by that mentality as well. So I really appreciate what you're doing, because that's part of, I guess, people's, distaste towards unions in general, is because they do have so much leverage, political leverage, when it comes to these politicians and the type of policy changes that they want that favors them. Me personally, I'm a right to work type of guy. I think any person should be able to apply for any type of job. But I do see the benefits of unions, but I think, again, they should be separate from political influence. Don't you think?
Well, no, I'm pro-labor. So, I'm against right to work. So what I would say is this. Our great country, the United States of America, what makes us great besides our religious freedom, our right to bear arms, freedom of speech, it's the fact that we have a strong middle class. And I don't know any country whose middle class is as strong as ours. And that is in direct result, in my opinion, of unions. And unions, quote, the labor movement brought on the unions because of abuse. And so, a lot of people think, these unions are, quote, out of control and that they have too much power. So I would say to someone who says that, if Local 1000 had so much power, then why did we lose 2 days a month for a whole fiscal year if we were so powerful? See, there's a flip side to this. And so sometimes I reject that strongly. If we were so powerful, we wouldn't have been furloughed for 3 days for over a year with Schwarzenegger, or we would have lost that 1 day's PLP in 2010 or 2012 with Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
So when they say the unions are so strong, I can't tell. I really can't.
Well, when it comes to, I guess, monopolization on employment, that's where people see it as being a problem. But for instance, like with police unions, I've met tons of people that would love to be police officers, but they know they just wouldn't make it through the police academy, number one, or they probably wouldn't be invited into the police unions. So if they want to work for a local police department, that prevents them from having that opportunity. And let's say, for instance, since our police officers are unionized, if they wanted to go on strike, we'd be SOL, and we'd only be reliant on our sheriff's departments to provide any type of, protective services in the community. So I guess it's like a catch-22, but the lobbying power of unions has been proven historically through more so of what they've done, again, to get involved with politics. And I think more so it had to do with corrupt leaders. Someone such as yourself that has pure intentions, which is, again, to focus on the well-being of union members and the union body without any involvement in politics, instead of using, dues collected from union members to invest into a politician that may potentially raise their pay, let's say to $15 an hour or something like that. You want to use that money to improve the union and, provide the union members with more benefits. That to me is a smarter way for the union itself to be operating, opposed to the latter. And we've seen more of that, unfortunately.
Well, let me try to unpack this, because you first of all, and I don't talk much about this, I'm a strong supporter of police unions. I am. And with the problem with the police over the last few years, with our interaction with unarmed Black people, the police don't have a good reputation. But I'm a strong supporter of the police unions, because I'm not going to stereotype all policemen, because I don't want the police to stereotype me. So, and of all the unions across America, I'm pro-police and I'm pro-teachers union. Now, with that being said, you said something about what I was trying to do and what I'm going to do. You're right. My intentions are honorable because I'm transparent, and I'm not going to be a corrupt labor leader. Now, have there been some corrupt labor leaders? I'm sure there have been. Have there been some corrupt union presidents? Oh, yes. So, people are kind of in awe that, can Richard Lewis Brown really, really back his mouth?
Yes.
And so, to jump ahead to another question, probably, the way I campaigned to win was one way. Now I'm being asked to change, to govern and be so presidential, so professional, your next Barack Obama. Well, listen, I'm not Barack Obama. There's
right.
Barack Obama, and nobody is going to beat that man. So I have to be myself.
Exactly.
My voters know what I campaigned on, and the same intensity that I campaigned and begged for voters. Now that I'm the president-elect, I keep that same intensity, because the fight is not over.
Right.
And, I don't have anything personally against people who want to support Gavin. I don't. My thing is this. I may be college educated, but you cannot take my money, threaten me to take my money unless I give it to you, and then you turn around later and say, you need my help.
Right.
Our friendship's over.
Yes, exactly.
And, people sometimes, people in my union, they're so academically intelligent, but they got played.
Right.
Street life, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Let me ask you a question, since you brought that up. Yeah. Why do you think those people continue to cultivate that relationship when it isn't being beneficial to them or union members when that's their job, Well,
when you've had a president since 2008 tell you over and over and over again that the politicians are our bosses and that we can't do anything without their help because they approve our contracts,
Mm.
will have been manipulated, deceived, bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray, tricked, hustled, conned. They're too smart for their own good.
Yeah.
In other words, when she manipulated them to get her salary stipend a few years ago, and when she first tried to get it, she couldn't get it. So she tried again in a 22-hour marathon session on June 26, 2016. She got her salary stipend in addition to her regular salary while she's on full-time union leave. But she tricked these people. And I tried to tell one of them, I said, when the bully comes to you and says, give me $10, and then you say, well, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. Let me think about this. And then you say, I'll give you $4.
What?
And the bully says, okay, I'll take 4.
Right.
You just got hustled.
Yes.
You told the bully from day one, get your ass out of here.
Exactly. Fought him back.
And
yeah.
they don't. And these people, I'm telling you, academically, they got it.
Mm-hmm.
No street sense, no common sense. And these politicians, listen to this. You said this, and I don't say it enough. He didn't give up his money until they reminded him to give up his money.
Exactly.
What people get on me about is when he was telling everybody to stay home because of COVID, he had the French Laundry with his lobbyist friend hanging out.
Right. Yeah.
So he got caught twice. And when he got caught twice, I said, uh-oh, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
But these legislators who was telling the public sector unions, including mine, Local 1000, to give up our money and work with Gavin, did these legislators, now here's the trick, all across America, we have no bipartisan support. Republicans and Democrats that can't work together. Man, what's going on? But when we gave up our money, did they show solidarity that in this COVID crisis, supposedly, that we're all in this together? Did they give up their money? Oh, no.
Exactly.
Mysteriously, the Democrats and the Republicans in the state capitol, across from where I work in the state treasurer's office, they came together and sang Kumbaya. We got to stick together. Now, hey, look, now that is a real labor union.
Right about that.
they came together. They said, hey, don't forget about, we ain't worried about Washington, D.C. and what they got going on up there. Right. We'll take care of them when we get to them. They came together across party lines. They worked and they were steadfast. And they said, you know, John, we can't give up our money. Because, you know, Susie's going to Catholic school. And we don't care about no COVID. Ain't nothing stopping our money.
Yeah. I mean, Gavin Newsom, he continued to keep his kids in private school while, of course, taxing we the people, you know, for public schools. So we're paying for public schools, public services, aren't even able to utilize them, you know, and we're not getting any tax rebates. We're not getting that money back that's been taken from us. So it's awful that, you know, we again have a leader that's, you know, exhibiting these type of behaviors.
Right.
Hopefully the people of California will continue to speak out against it. I mean, before I became a Republican candidate for governor, I was a libertarian. I was the 2018 Libertarian candidate for governor, and I ran against Newsom. But when the recall happened, I was the chair of the Fresno Libertarian Party. So I went out there, you know, with my recall shirts. And even though it's red, you know, because of the tribalism that has been created with people, they look at it as being like a gang mentality thing. So if you're wearing a red shirt in the blue territory, you're, you know, a white supremacist and you're going to get heckled. And, you know, and I'm like, do I look like a white supremacist? I mean, but just again, promoting more so the real reasons as to why we should be wanting to remove him from office. And that's because, hey, when it comes to accountability, he doesn't seem like he should have to be held accountable for his actions.
Now, here's what the people in Local 1000 are saying, and they jump on me about this. They say, Richard, if he's recalled, we may get a Republican who's worse than Gavin. Now listen to this. And I can see their argument behind that. When this comes to the ballot in November, it appears that the Democratic Party is not running a second person. I don't understand that. But they're so confident that he won't lose.
Right.
That he'll beat the recall. I've been telling people that he'll beat it, but not with my help.
Right, exactly.
And I'm voting to get get him out of here. And,
right.
Now
when it comes to bargaining power, you want to be able to maintain that. And, as a union, you're only going to be able to have that as strong as the union is. With weak leadership, now it puts you in a vulnerable position. So those presidents that were telling you, hey, these politicians, we got to bend to their will. No, that never should have been the mentality of someone that, again, is lobbying for the people. You're the representative of the 99% versus the 1% of politicians that, again, work for this group of people. So if they're doing anything that's compromising your job, your livelihood, your ability to provide for yourself, then of course you always want to be able to call them out for that. And it sounds as if, again, the people in charge of the leadership right now, they just want to continue to keep that bad relationship going between them and our government. But you did touch on something that I kind of want to talk about a little bit if we could, because it is a bit controversial. And I feel like as a Black man, I need to be responsible to discuss such an issue when I have the opportunity to. Because, with this whole racial tension that's going on in the country, it feels like talking about racial disparities or racial inequalities is difficult when, of course, it's a conversation we need to have, number one, in order to clear it up. But number two, how do we come up with solutions? And if we're talking about police brutality and the effects of the police in our communities or whatever their presence, I want to let people know I don't have a problem with cops. I got a problem with bad cops. I got a problem with authoritarianism. I got a problem with corruption. I got a problem with abuse of power. And that can even apply to judges or politicians, So when we, the people, employ these people to do a certain job, because that's what we're doing. We're paying for them to do a job. And you hear people on the left, the liberals, whatever you want to call them, make calls to defund the police. Now, they're paying for a service, right? Which is protective services by the police departments. And their salary is coming out of our pockets by way of taxation. Exactly. So for the people that make that call, aren't they valid to say, hey, you're failing at providing this service in the community. We're going to take away your paycheck and we're going to apply that money elsewhere. Is something wrong with that?
Now, you see me, I keep looking off for a second because you're making some excellent points and I'm writing them down because I take If you notice, earlier in our conversation, I said, I support the police unions. I'm going to stand by that.
Okay.
I'm going to double down on it. I am not for defund the police. Remember, I'm pro-labor. And if you're pro-labor, then you're probably pro-union. But if you're pro-union, you may not be pro-labor because pro-union is political. Pro-labor is fighting for the working man and the working woman. So defunding the police is madness to me. That's silly because you're trying to stereotype the entire police department. That's like stereotyping Black men. So if you want respect, you got to give respect. But I know that the younger Black crowd, they feel differently. And, I respect that. But I don't agree with defunding the police. I just don't. Because
I'm
not against a police union. And I got to say that.
Right. And again, nothing's wrong with a police union as long as they're having that separation of powers, is what you're talking about, not having any political sway, and unfortunately, we again have seen historically, time and time again, that these police unions, labor union presidents, whatever, etc., like to use that leverage when it comes to political plays. So the point you just brought up about you got to give respect in order to get respect.
Right.
That would apply the same to those police officers that are providing that service in the community to people that may feel like they're being disrespected by people they're paying to do a job. So, what you're talking about labor unions and people being able to work, I told you I had a friend that would love to work as a police officer, but because of the closed door, or closed circuit type of nature of it, it makes it difficult to get involved in that. Versus, let's say, for instance, if there was a free market model and they weren't able to just bid out that contract. And in one city here in Mayor, let's just use it in Fresno where I live as mayor. If I wanted to say, hey, our police union has failed, instead of giving them that money, we're now going to give this new protective service company an opportunity to provide protective services in the community. So we're still getting the services, less money, and now more accountability, because that new company is going to have to earn that next year's contract, you see? So
I would make sure on this podcast that the Fresno Police Department and the Fresno Police Union know that Richard Lewis Brown is in full support of them always, because I don't want no one to attack Local 1000. So I'm not like anybody else. I'm just, because here's the thing. I talk to officers.
Yeah.
Not every day, but I've talked to them in downtown Sacramento, CHP. And if one of them officers hear me say anything different than what I told them during the Black Lives Matter rally last summer during those hours, oh no. So I have to stay consistent.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but I see your point. A lot of people feel that way. But this country is all about, quote, money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a group of people working with you to fight for that money, then you'll get left behind. Because the corporations, they've got some money, and they're willing to fight and lobby for what they believe in.
Oh yeah.
When they allow money into politics anyway. And no, but you made a funny statement about the free market. That's funny you say that. Not to go deep or anything, but free market.
Give me what you got.
Well, I mean, do you know about the Federal Reserve of America?
Yes, I do.
Done talking.
That's why my goal.
I love this country. I don't want to get run out of here.
Right. Well, that's why my goal as governor is to expose all of the gravity of the situation, because people don't really know how deep the rabbit hole goes. And when she start talking about monetary policy in the Federal Reserve and its control over our currency, how it works, a lot of people just start to kind of float off because it's over their heads. They don't really understand money, number one, how it works. They just know it's in my hand and I'm supposed to use it. They don't know where it comes from. They don't know how it works, really, it having value. So when I go to introduce the idea about, me as governor shifting California to a gold standard, and creating our own monetary system, our own dollar to challenge the Federal Reserve note, they don't see how powerful of a message that is. Seems like you do, but
I don't say anymore.
Okay.
I don't even know you. I know exactly what your mindset is.
All right.
I guess that I may know some literature that you probably read over the course of your life.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Only thing I can say, I shocked the world. If they don't want me to be that labor leader, they don't want me to be the 1,000 president.
Right.
And this is the #1 state, probably in the nation, but for sure on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say certain things, they say, hey, want to watch your words. You just said some powerful words. That's why I said, hey, I'm willing to fight and die for the cause. But what you saying, I don't want them at my door tomorrow morning. Because, look, they're not going to miss.
Well, I've been saying this for quite a long time, brother. Tell you the truth.
I don't want that drama.
I've been investigated by the FBI. I had them call me. I know
Really?
for sure I'm on the watch list or something. Oh, yeah, I got videos on YouTube. I recorded the calls. I'm letting them know. I'm going to keep tabs on you just like you keeping tabs on me, you know? Because my goal is to free the people away from the superpowers, you know, that's been oppressing us this entire time. And while we're pointing fingers at certain people saying, you did it, you did it, you did it, you know, we're not looking at the shadow men behind it all. So what you're talking about, the reason why, of course, I would think that they want to have you watch your words wisely is because, like you said, in California, the Democratic Party benefits greatly from the unions being behind them, you know?
That is very.
They don't want to lose that position in the community to say, look, see, I have all of the working class, you know, unions behind me. You should vote for me and support me too. Newsom loses that power with you saying that.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Gavin Newsom is well connected. His family is wealthy. They know other wealth. They know all the wealthy families. Those because they call it the controlling wealthy families in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to be able to take on, quote, the establishment and get the other unions to feel like me. I would love to do that. I would. And I was talking about creating a federation of the public sector unions regarding state employees. But if you think that they have the courage, I want them to have the courage. But do you think talking to me versus talking to Gavin Newsom, who they're going to listen to?
Right.
Real talk. And now, my belief in God is strong. If God says, oh, no, it's going to work out a little differently, well, then we fall back. Because, you know, I did have the dream from God that I won the election.
All
See,
right.
I had visions from God. And when I had it last summer, I woke up, I was like, oh, no. Like, are you serious? I'm going to win this? Because this was the first time where I was running where I had made peace with myself. The other elections, I wanted to win so bad. This election, I was like, I'm going to do the best I can.
Right.
And so when I had the revelation from God, I was stunned. But I didn't get the confirmation dreams. But maybe he wanted to keep me, you know, keep me humble, keep me working hard.
Right.
So if it is my divine destiny to create this gigantic labor movement in California that runs throughout the U.S., well, then let me humble myself and say, okay.
Right.
So,
yeah, it can definitely start a tidal wave to take over again what I feel like is a one-party government control over over us, we the people. You know, they prevent us from being able to really provide for ourselves with their policies. You know, California is a rich state. We're the 5th largest economy in the world. Right. And a lot of people have it confused to think that the government makes it that way. No, you make it that way. You know, the working class, you know, the people out there busting their ass.
Great point. That's a great point.
In this economy, you make California the 5th largest economy in the world. Now, it would be the 1st largest economy in the world if you didn't have so much taxes, if you didn't have so much government regulation, you know, if you didn't have all of the bureaucratic red tape holding you back, you know. So that's what I present as a candidate and want people to know about what I offer to them as a potential governor of California, because I don't want them to think I'm anti-union or I'm anti-police or I'm anti-anything. I'm pro-liberty, you know? So liberty comes first and foremost above anything else. And of course, we have a job, or these elected officials have a job, which is to uphold the United States Constitution. And unfortunately, we don't see that happening, especially with people like Gavin Newsom. And as much influence as he may have, I'll tell you this. Yes, he's very well connected, but he's not in tune with the people, you know? And that's what they need in order to win elections, is a good rapport with voters. Newsom has lost that. So he can get as much money as he, and this is winner takes all, the special election is winner takes all. So the candidate can win with the plurality based on how many candidates are winning. So I potentially can win with a little over 30%, you know? So he can spend $100 million, you know, whatever the case may be. I can come along, and if I get 100 million votes, I win, you know? Well, not that many. It's only 40 million people in California, but you see what I'm saying? Money isn't going to win the election.
So the thing is, I think that what was told to me was, the first part of the ballot is, do you think Gavin Newsom should be recalled? And I'm gonna mark yes.
Yes.
And then I'll select Mr. Wildstar, most likely.
All right. Woo! I love the sound of that already.
Second half. Now,
yes.
If people say in a majority to keep him, then he's going to win.
Yes, but I don't think that's going to happen. As much as they're all right. So I was involved in the signature gathering part of the petition. Okay. And where I live is a predominantly Democratic registered voter district. Okay. I purposely target those type of areas to collect signatures in. And I did this from June to maybe November or so, early December. And while I was out there 2 days a week, every week in front of Walmarts, I would talk to people, thousands of people, and ask them, why are you recalling Gavin Newsom? Are you a Democrat? You know, some of them would offer this information to me and say, you know what, I'm going to sign this petition. I voted for Gavin Newsom, but he disappointed me. You know, a lot of them were state employees that ended up having those furloughs, and they
POP, furlough, that's when they take it from you through government action.
Yes.
POP, just give it up. So yeah.
Right. So yes, exactly. Had a lot of state employees come out there and sign the petition. Yes, sir. Yes, in Fresno. Yeah. Really? And again, Fresno is painted as being this red district, you know, whatever the case may be, but it's really a progressive area. And so I'm more of a representative of the California Republican, not the national Republican, you know, the far-right Republican, evangelical,
I got you,
Judeo-Christian Republican, the Trump Republican, you know. California Republicans are completely different, you know.
I work with them. I work for them.
You see? So they don't really care so much about gender identity or, you know, same-sex marriages. They don't care if somebody smokes weed. They don't care if somebody wants to work as a sex worker, you know. The California Republican is different. And I want to capitalize on that by getting them to know that if you vote for me, we can win against the Democratic Party. We can win against Newsom, because I get a lot of people on the left that listen to my ideas about more conservatism, you know, cutting taxes, cutting overspending, and restoring our right to protect ourselves by making California constitutional carry state. And I get tons of support from the left. So California, again, hands down, we didn't vote for Trump, but we did vote for progressives. Bernie won against Trump in the primary. They voted for Biden, just because, you know. But originally, the first time around, they voted for Bernie. So
I did.
You see what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah. In the primary, I voted for Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Both 2020 and 2016.
All right. See, yeah. And so the people of California think differently politically. I think they're a little bit of right, a little bit of left, you know, a little conservative, a little liberal. You know, to me, they're the perfect definition of the fiscally responsible, you know, socially liberal type of voter. So,
That's a great way of saying that.
Absolutely. So I think because of my interaction, my engagement with those people, that he will be recalled. It's just a matter of who comes along and motivates even more people to support that recall as well. I think if we can have a exciting candidate on that second part of that ballot, such as myself, hopefully, you know, if I get more media attention, but if I'm able to excite the people of California about something different other than what Gavin Newsom is offering, then he'll definitely lose that first part of that. So yes, two questions. First, would you like to recall Newsom? If over 50% says yes, then whoever gets the most votes on the second part wins the election. So what was that? I didn't want to interrupt.
No. I just remember living in Arizona and hearing about the recall with Schwarzenegger, and I had said if they put Schwarzenegger in, that was a bad move.
Yeah.
And I was right. I just didn't know I was going to move to this state. So I didn't know. Yeah. So it's funny how destiny comes for us.
Yes.
And you know, everybody has strong opinions across America about politicians, particularly in the last, in my opinion, people didn't really care until a certain president was elected in 2008.
Yeah.
Then after that, people became really interesting.
Right.
But you know,
You're right about that.
Yeah, I like that. And that's what they're worried about me is because I'm transparent and I'm talking to people. And to be honest, a lot of Republicans are talking to me. And that's what they like.
Yeah.
So I've gone against the odds, you know, and I tell people I'm on this journey, you know, quote, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling, because that wheel in the sky keeps turning, and we're going to rock and roll all the way into the Hall of Fame. We're going to create great music. Now, some people know what I'm saying.
I know what you're talking about.
Keep your head to the sky, for the clouds will tell you why, because these elements are here and they're true in September.
Yeah.
So, you know,
hang in there.
I'm doing everything I can, and I wish you nothing but success.
Oh, thank you.
About this podcast, this video, because I am a registered voter.
All right.
I believe in voting, and that unique name, Wildstar. Hard to forget.
I hope it tells you all you need to know, you know?
It's been a pleasure talking with you.
And same to you. That was a great message to end it on, because I was going to actually ask you if you had anything that you wanted to inspire people out there, you know, that are seeing what's going on with you to say. So that's actually the perfect message.
You know what? Richard Lewis Brown, and I say this, Richard Lewis Brown, I say it 3 times. And people say, what do those numbers mean? 7437. What does that mean, Richard? What does that mean? Take those numbers and add them and go to the casino. What year are we in? 21. 7 days to start life, 7 days to end life, to the 4 corners of the earth. I say it 3 times. I am the 3rd Local 1000 president in our history. Enough said.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Well, I hope you're able to hold that position for as long as God will have you. Definitely.
Yeah, pray for me, because I need a lot of prayer. Thank you.
I sure will. Definitely. God bless you. And thank you again for being here on the Black Side of Liberty. All your information is down there at the bottom. So expect new people contacting you soon. You take care until then, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys. That again is Richard Lewis Brown, who is the new president, will be, if things keep going well for him, which it looks like it is going to happen, he's going to lock in that nomination as president of SEIU 1000. So be sure to check him out right there at the bottom of your screen. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please connect with him because he definitely could use your support. Hopefully he can continue to cause more waves out here in California, and I definitely will be supporting him every step of the way because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about shaking things up out here in California, and that's why I'm still out here. I didn't leave and go back to Wisconsin. You know, I'm not going to Texas or Florida or any of those states where people in California are fleeing to right now. Please stay here, stay tuned, and we're going to do some things like Richard Lewis said, and just stick in the good fight, you know, because it's going to be all worth it. But you guys know what to do. Again, please contact him, stay in touch, and also be sure to head on over to taxationistheft.info. My man, Dan, Taxation is Theft Berman, who is also running for governor of Texas. You can support him in his campaign for Texas governor. But another way that you can help him and help me is to buy some of his merchandise for Taxation is Theft, shirts, bumper stickers, mugs, hats, all that good stuff to get the message about how taxation is theft. Since you aren't giving it away voluntarily, you might as well let people know that taxation is theft. So head on over to the website, taxationistheft.info. Use my code GOWILD2022, and you can get 10% off of any merchandise you buy there on the website. And for all you hemp smokers out there, definitely head on over to nuggetknowledge.com for all of the most potent hemp products that you can buy. Hemp is legal, y'all. It ain't like weed. I know y'all get it confused. Cannabis has two plants, weed and hemp. So hemp is legal, and it's legal in all 50 states. So if you want to buy some hemp and try it out because it has extreme health benefits, and it actually has been discovered to help reduce coronavirus symptoms. So if you have had coronavirus or think you may have coronavirus and want to heal yourself, try some CBD from hemp products from nuggetknowledge.com. Use my code WILDSTAR and you can get 10% off in addition to signing up for the newsletter, which you can do. And any purchases here, so you guys know, goes towards research of how to reduce marijuana laws across the country. And it also helps candidates like me that are running for office to help get rid of those type of laws and promote decriminalization. We need to end the war on drugs, and it's only going to start happening first with you, okay? And speaking of fighting against the system, you know me, y'all. Head on over to GoFundMe.com, free Wildstar. I'm still fighting against these charges of me recording in court. Yes, as stupid as it sounds, I was found guilty for recording in court and would like to beat those charges. I'm appealing them right now, and if I am to beat them, then that means not only me, but every person in the state of California will continue to be able to exercise their right to record their public officials in a public place without being treated like a criminal because of it. So if you would like to help me fight against that cause, head on over to GoFundMe.com to find out, GoFundMe.com/FreeWildstar to find out more about the story and, of course, how you can make a contribution. And if you want to help out with our effort to get rid of Gavin Newsom, head on over to recallgavin2020.com. They are still in need of donations to help get materials out there to people, you know, and spread the message and awareness of why we, the people of California, should be recalling him, since he's using the mainstream media machine to paint the people involved in the recall as being, you know, white supremacists and Trump supporters, which I am not. I voted Joe Jorgensen in 2020, y'all. She was the only woman on the ballot in all 50 states. Libertarian, not Trump, okay? Head on over to recallgavin2020.com and get involved in that nonpartisan effort to remove Gavin Newsom from office now. And if you want to help me get in office to replace him, head on over to Wildstar2022.com. Here's a pledge card that you can fill out to help join Team Wildstar and become a staffer, help me raise some money, post some signs around town, all that good stuff. So fill out a pledge card at my website, Wildstar2022.com. And of course, you can make a contribution by clicking on that donate button. But you can find out more about my platform, my Gold New Deal, what I want to do about criminal justice reform, homelessness, etc., at my website, Wildstar2022.com. So please, definitely, you guys, make a contribution today. I'm a 100% grassroots candidate. I'm not funded by unions like my man Richard Lewis Brown of SEI 1000. So yeah, I'm not getting any union money. I'm not getting any corporation money. I'm not getting any big banks money, big pharma money, none of that money. So any of the money that I get is coming from people just like you, just like public broadcast. So we want to compete against Gavin Newsom and the money machine. Make a contribution today. Every little bit helps in that effort, okay? And you guys, I do appreciate you being here because, like I said, I'm going to be dropping these on you sporadically, and I've been doing my best to kind of build up a little schedule since I, have a lot going on. So I do have a few guests that I have that would like to be on the Black Side of Liberty next week, starting with my man Shane Driscoll. If you guys know that name, that's because Shane was on my campaign team when I ran for governor in 2018. He also was all right, thank you, brother. He also was my mentor and advisor, and also with the Libertarian Leadership Academy. So he was the former, let me see if I can bring that up on the screen. There we go. Hold on. Yeah. So he was the former director over at the Libertarian Leadership Academy, good friend of mine. And he's very funny, has a lot of insight about libertarianism and other sorts of things. So I'm going to be talking with him next week, Tuesday, right here on the Black Side of Liberty. So come on back at 5 p.m. where we speak with Shane Driscoll, former director of the Libertarian Leadership Academy, y'all. So thank you very much again for being here. All of the comments. Hello, Julian. Thank you for joining in. Please be sure to share this video and let others see it. I'm exposing myself over here. Y'all don't see that. But anyways, yes, it's definitely a wonderful name, Lady Wildstar. You got it. And thank you, Cade, Julian, Jack B., all of the wonderful comments, you guys. And thank you all for tuning in. Even if you didn't drop a comment, I appreciate you for watching the Black Side of Liberty. I will be back with more Governor Wildstar exclusives and more debates and other videos and all of that good stuff. So please be sure to subscribe to my Wildstar YouTube channel. If you head over to my website, Wildstar2022.com, you can connect with me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. So please definitely be sure to connect with me. You have a good one too, Julian. And to all of you guys out there, you have a great one also, all right? Take care until next time, and long live liberty, y'all. Peace.